Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Preimesberger. I'm editor of eWEEK. Thanks for joining us for today's segment of eWEEK eSpeaks. And my interviewee today is the CTO of Chef, Scobie. Corey, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Great to be here.
Tell me what Chef does. It sounds delicious. You know, it sounds like you guys are cooking up something in the kitchen. But what you do is it's very, very important with the way IT operations works.
Yeah, I actually get that all the time. Every time I wear my chef hoodie to a grocery store, somebody's asking me what that company does. As you probably know, Chef is one of the pioneers in the DevOps space, and really ultimately we're founded around the concept of infrastructure as code and being able to define and then automate infrastructure deployment as code. And we've grown up, we have a multi-part portfolio that includes security and compliance and also application lifecycle management. But fundamentally what we do is we allow companies to take their IT processes and encode them as artifacts that can then be automated through the process. And so that's really how we enable DevOps.
Right, so you're basically connecting a lot of dots. You're connecting code, abstractions, schemas, things like that. And then what you're doing is you're operationalizing all that through your software and on a daily basis for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And so, one of the challenges that we see with IT organizations these days is that they have a difficult time taking all the various different patterns that come out of agile software development and the various different tools and tool chains and whatnot that they have, and narrowing that down to a small set of operational patterns that they can then take to their organization at scale.
Right.
And so one of the things that we do is we provide a platform that allows you to do that on many different facets.
Okay. Now you got some news this week or coming out soon about an addition to your product lineup. Can you describe that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a couple of great announcements that are coming out at Chef Conf Online. The first of those is Chef Compliance. So we've been working in the sort of security and compliance space for a number of years now, and we've really refined the pattern of being able to evaluate a large fleet of systems and define what the security and compliance standards should be, and then ultimately being able to automatically remediate those systems into compliance with the standards that a company selects. And so Chef Compliance, which is launching this week, is ultimately the next generation of a product focused on that. And I think really the key things are it features automatic remediation, and the configuration of how you get started is super simple. So rather than having to write a bunch of cookbooks and recipes and profiles in order to facilitate that, we've actually done a lot of that work for customers, sort of the 20% of the work for 80% of the value, which is, in the security and compliance world, it's lock your doors and bolt your windows kind of thing.
Right. Okay. And then you've got Chef Desktop. What's the desktop entail?
Yeah, so Chef Desktop is a new product offering from Chef around targeted at IT support organizations. And really what it does is it takes the same tried and true pattern that we've used for large scale systems management with configuration management and Chef Infra, and applies it to a very specific set of problems that IT support organizations have with desktops. And so we've gone ahead and created content and a pattern and dashboards, a single pane of glass for companies to be able to deploy a scalable solution for managing all the desktops, laptops, distributed systems that they have in the increasingly distributed work environment that we're living in these days.
Yeah, absolutely. How has the COVID-19 pandemic affected your company at this time and your customers? Has it had an impact?
I mean, certainly it's had an impact. I think COVID-19 has had an impact on everybody. What we see is two main things. First of all, at Chef, we are a pretty distributed company and a pretty distributed workforce to begin with. So although there has been some impacts and our Seattle office has been closed for a number of weeks, et cetera, for the most part, it hasn't been a major hurdle for Chef to sort of move into this working remotely sort of modality. We do that pretty naturally. I think in terms of customers, what we're seeing is it's actually increasing the speed and the importance of their digital transformation projects in enterprise IT. So for the most part, what we're seeing is companies who have historically had a digital transformation strategy, but also collateral with their traditional brick and mortar business or what have you, are now moving much quicker towards their digital transformation goals. And so with that comes automation. Automation is kind of one of the foundational pieces of digital transformation. And so for us, the effect has been, although we have many customers that are in highly affected industries, we are seeing, sort of the products and the uptake of our technology even increasing a little bit in this COVID era.
Right. COVID, Chef, like many companies, is on a journey. You're always evolving. You're always adding new features. You're always just changing and staying ahead of the development needs out there. How do you see the roadmap in general for the company going forward? Is it going to be, kind of eventually a general data management and modern data management program or profile or platform that will really be one of the leaders in RPA and in using automation?
Yeah, I think so. Part of what we see with the sort of the history of Chef and ultimately where we see the industry going is the past few years have been a tremendous amount of sort of disaggregation. There's a lot of different tools available. There's a lot of different patterns that people are deploying. And I think we're actually moving now, what we see is moving into a period of consolidation in the DevOps space in general, where companies are looking to sort of consolidate down their tool chains a little bit to consolidate down the number of patterns that they're deploying. And there is an opportunity, we believe, for somebody to emerge as, one of the platform players in this space. And so if you think about sort of Chef as a company over the past decade, we started out really as a tools company where our target was practitioners, and it was really about like, how do you get tools into the hands of makers that could, create solutions on top of it. For the past couple of years, we've been talking about our product portfolio as a stack, which means that we've become more opinionated about how exactly you put the pieces of the puzzle together and where the separation of concerns are and the abstractions are and whatnot. And as we look forward into our product roadmap, we are looking towards sort of the platform era of Chef, if you will. We've got some really great foundational technology in Automate. We do believe that although 10 years ago, ironically, Chef was founded as a company whose vision was that the core of the software, not the agents, but the core of the software that was deployed for infrastructure automation would be deployed as a cloud service. 10 years ago was a little too early for the world to sort of hand the keys over to the kingdom on a cloud service. But we do believe that, a cloud-based, SaaS-based offering is in fact the core of our future product offering. And then of course it contain all the distributed software that goes into the various different heterogeneous environments that we operate in, including data centers and public cloud and private cloud and everything in between, essentially.
Right. And automation, which is one of the foundations of what you guys bring to the table, is only going to be in more and more widespread use as time goes on. So it looks like you guys are in a really good lane right now for all of this. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. And we're, not going to sit on our laurels. We're still sort of pushing the next generation of what automation looks like in the enterprise.
Okay, well, I can't wait for you guys to show it to us. Appreciate that. Corey Scobie, CTO of Chef, thank you very much for your time today on eWEEK eSpeaks.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It was great.
And everybody out there watching, have a great rest of your eWEEK. Thanks for joining us on eWEEK eSpeaks. Go to eWEEK.com to hear more conversations with IT thought leaders.